Hi, I'm Brian Murnane. I'm Chairman of Irish Autism Action. Our organisation exists to serve the needs of children and families who suffer from autism in Ireland. We thought it would be a good idea to put today's conference online in order for you to understand the variety of initiatives that we're currently working on to help us advance those needs. Good morning and welcome to today's Council meeting of Irish Autism Action. Before I proceed, I'd like to formally note appreciation for one of our former members, recently deceased, Joe Nealon from Galway. And when I last spoke to him at our meeting in Mullingar, one of the things he said publicly at that time was continues to stick with me. Those of you who were at that particular meeting remember it was a contentious debate on a particular issue. There's no need for us to go into that now, but what Joe said to us very wistfully at the time was, what unites us is stronger than what divides us. I'd like to remind people of our mission statement. Our mission statement has never changed in the 10 years of our existence. We exist to advance the needs of children with autism and the families of those children with autism. The way we do that will evolve over time. Children have a habit of growing up into adults, and as such their needs evolve and develop over time. As such, what IAA does, how it does it, where it does it, how it funds it, and with whom it engages will also change over time. Today what we're going to talk about is a number of those initiatives which really mark something of a turning point from what we've seen over the last 10 years. Those of you who have been involved since the beginning, many of you in it for the same reason, many of you had young children with autism, many of you found that you couldn't get diagnosis, you couldn't get early intervention, and the work of you as individuals and the organisation as a whole was pretty much to put in place some of those very fundamental services to give a chance at a realistic life to some of your children. The Solace Centre was set up, a number of ABA schools, which are pretty much world class, have set up. We have Kristen here from Trinity College who I guess represents the educational evolution of some of those schools, because if you have schools you need to have the backup and training infrastructure to provide for the staff. What we've developed here is something of an industry, which is something of which we can be very proud. But more needs to be done for the future. And I think you'll join me in being excited about some of those very specific initiatives that we're here to talk about in the future. I won't elaborate on them in great detail because many of them are the subject of specific presentations we're going to have. But to name just a few, Professor Anthony Staines is here from DCU. He's going to talk about the prevalence study, which IAA commissioned over a year ago now. It's a very comprehensive study, the objective of which is to, for the first time in this country, get empirical evidence as to the true incidence of autism. We hear anecdotally all kinds of numbers coming from this country and from others about what that real incidence of autism is. What you find when you look at those various studies is the methodologies will vary. And certainly as we advocate to government or to other institutions and we say, well, the problem is this big, very often our credibility is undermined simply because the methodologies of how those things have been measured are questionable. We're going to talk